Hello, welcome to SES-22. Um, this is Port Canaveral. Um, there aren't any current views that the cameras are on right now, aimed at the launch pad. Some of them should go online pretty shortly. Launch is in just over 30 minutes. We are T-minus 31 minutes at the moment. Launch is scheduled for 5:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, with the launch of SES-22 on board SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. This will be this booster's second flight, flying previously on Starlink 4-15, I believe. Let me confirm this so I'm not telling you the wrong thing. Yes, it previously flew on Starlink Group 4-15 on May 14th out of the same pad, and now it's flying again with a 46-day turnaround. We also have a launch tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time of the Launcher 1 rocket. I will also be streaming that, so it's pretty late at night. And then tomorrow there is again another launch of PSLV-CA from the ISRO tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. So I will be streaming that as well. And then the final launch tomorrow, which I will also be streaming, will be the Atlas V USSF-12 mission for the United States Space Force. That will launch tomorrow, Thursday, June 30th at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Capstone continues to be in flight. It launched yesterday at 5:55 a.m. It has performed 2 of the 8 maneuvers to get Capstone on a nominal trajectory and continue to look nominal. And if you have followed my channel recently, you would know that I performed a test flight, a vehicle test flight with the VTF-1 mission on board our rocket. I can get that up really quickly. 1 second. Well, the flight didn't really work as planned. I wish it did, except it decided to go a little bit sideways. So that wasn't the best. It was pretty funny though. Yeah. I can get this up really quickly if OBS lets me to. Let me get this correctly framed. 1 second. Okay, there. I have got it. So this is the test flight. We had successful fuse ignition at T-minus 11 seconds, or T0 on our count, except it was actually L-minus 11 seconds. The fuse burned pretty well into the pad. The engine had a slow startup. It lit, and then it fell and drove across the grass like a car. It actually bounced up. It lost thrust immediately, fell back onto the pad, and so since there's a rim, it's uneven. It tipped backwards, and it ended up doing its funny little maneuver across the ground. You can see it on this tracking video. The inside of the engine actually went flying out, and made that big cloud. However, if you want to see that video, you can see that on my channel. The most recent video aside from this stream. We should have video. There we go. There is on-site video. Credit to Spaceflight Now for this video. And we can see propellant loading has begun aboard the Falcon 9 rocket. The go-no-go poll was given a few minutes ago at T-minus 38 minutes, and all teams said they would go for launch. And propellant loading on the first stage liquid oxygen and RP1 and the second stage RP1 load has begun. Stage 2 LOX load will begin at around T minus 16 minutes as the tank is smaller. And since it's cryogenic, you want that to stay as insulated as possible for the longest time that you can for the highest efficiency. It is looking pretty stormy at Cape Canaveral. The weather is also not looking the best. I can check the weather for you. One second. Merritt Island, Florida. Hourly. Yeah, upcoming. There's scattered thunderstorms. Cloud cover is 50%, so we'll possibly be able to see a peek through some clouds. And the wind is 8 miles per hour, and it feels like 90 degrees. So, not that bad, but not that good for launch either. You can see this booster is lighter than all the other boosters because their other boosters in their fleet are usually have been flown like over 5 times. This is a relatively new booster, having only supported one mission before this. So now we can talk about the Falcon Heavy launch that was delayed. Well, Falcon Heavy with the Psyche mission got delayed again from August to a long time. I think it's no earlier than July of next year. Yeah, July of 2023. So, not a pretty big delay, but yeah. So now the next Falcon Heavy mission is with the Viasat 3 on board Falcon Heavy in September of this year, followed by USSF-67 in November and USSF-44 in December. Then it will be followed again by EchoStar 24 in January, and then USSF-52 in April. Those are the upcoming Falcon Heavy flights. Yeah. Artemis 1, the return to the first flight of SLS, is still on track for an August launch. The launch windows open on August 23rd, and they start early in the morning, like 6 something a.m., and they end like September 6th on at later in the day, like 6 p.m. So hopefully it gets pushed further out, like August 28th or something. So it's a decent time for the people in Florida to watch it, because I'm going to be hopefully one of those people in Florida to watch it. Terran 1 continues its testing ahead of its launch in July of this year. And yeah, this camera is pretty shaky. Ooh, very shaky. So yeah, more news with Ankla. That could be a show. Well, tonight there's gonna be a static fire test. It will be live streamed. T0 is currently set for 8:55 p.m. And it's engine EN11. It'll be its 8th static fire, and it'll static fire from Test Complex 20. Our next flight will be on July 7th, scheduled for 8:48 p.m. on an Everest 1.2B rocket. It will fly on the VTF-2 mission from, that is wrong. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong thing. From MLP 15, sorry, at the Ankla Flight Facility. That will support the new launch rod and upgrades that we've learned from VTF-1 smashing into the ground. So hopefully that gets fixed. Yeah, today those 4 towers around the rocket could possibly be useful. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully there's no lightning. Those 4 towers are lightning rods, or giant lightning rods, or lightning towers, which protect the rocket from lightning, and so it doesn't get hit by lightning, because computers don't mix with lightning very well. Neither does propellants. and highly flammable substances. So you don't really want that lighting on fire. Um, that shorter tower next to the rocket is the TE, or transporter erector. That is what helps it roll from the horizontal integration facility to the pad. There is one for Slick 40 and another one for 39A. Upcoming should be the 20-minute vent, starting very shortly, actually. Should start in just around a minute or so. Depends how delayed this camera is. Stage 2 fuel load is complete, so the RP1 is completed. LWC, the launch is scheduled for 5:02 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the clock in the bottom left. It will be 4:02 because that's Central Daylight Time. There you can see the 20-minute event starting up. The TE, it's now getting the lines ready to load liquid oxygen into the second stage. That is the big vent, which signifies that it is around 20 minutes away from launch. It'll last around 4.5 minutes, give or take. Yeah. This camera is placed around 5 miles away from Slick 40 at the 39A press site. However, we do still get great views from this at launch. Falcon 9 now looking more and more ready for an on-time liftoff at T0 with SES-22.
Is proceeding into internal power switch.
Understand. Spacecraft proceeding to internal power at this time.
Sorry if that was a little quiet. The spacecraft is transitioning to internal power at this time. No problem, LWC. So SES-22 is now into internal power. That is what they called out on the net. It was quiet, but we heard it, and that is good. So you can see that vent is very active at the moment. Yeah. We will have on-site audio for the launch. So we can hear those 9 Merlins roaring to life as they carry Falcon to a geostationary orbit. What else is there to talk about? The weather is pretty cloudy, as you can see on this camera located at Port Canaveral. However, we'll probably still be able to track it somewhat upward during that ascent portion of flight. We're on T-minus 18 minutes or so, if my math is right. That vent continuing. So this will not be a return to launch site landing. It will be landing on the SpaceX's autonomous space. No, that's not what it stands for. ASDS, a shortfall of gravitas, positioned out in the Atlantic Ocean. This launch will come up the coast. However, since it is daytime, the East Coast will not be able to see it. You could probably see it from mid, south, north Florida, possibly Georgia, South Carolina, possibly. If you want to test it, you can bring your phone outside and look at the sky. Just look east, and you could possibly see it. I am not going to do that because I'm hosting a live stream. Yeah, that vent is really big. That vent is actually probably the same size as Falcon 9, which is... Well, I should know this off the top of my head now, but I don't. 70 meters tall, so I need to Google this. So around 230 feet tall. So 70 meters or 230 feet.
Go ahead, MM.
Spacecraft is on internal power and go for launch.
Copy. Spacecraft on internal and go for launch. Thank you.
Okay, the spacecraft SES-22 is...
Stage 2 LOX load.
Okay, stage 2 LOX load has begun, and the spacecraft is on internal power. We continue to track on We continue to look good for an on-time liftoff at T0 with SES-22 to orbit. Falcon 9 still looking nominal as we are just around, let me do this math, 16 minutes away from launch. Up next will be engine chill at around T-minus 7 minutes. That is where they will begin purging the engines. No, that's not right. Where they will begin flowing the propellants into the engines to get them ready for ignition at T-minus 2 seconds. The engines there are 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage, which are on the Falcon 9 Block 5. The first stage houses those 9 Merlin engines in the octaweb, as well as 4 landing legs for it to land down, and 4 titanium grid fins. The second stage has a single MVAC engine, and it has the payload fairings which hold the payload today, that is SES-22. Oops, that is off screen. Do we know where it's placing the payload? Is it low Earth orbit or geostationary? As I know that determines the max payload that Falcon 9 can carry. Yes, it is. We do know it is placing into a geostationary transfer orbit. The Falcon 9 can carry 8,300 kilograms of payload to GTO. So yeah, SES-22 is going to a geostationary transfer orbit. Another question by David Individual. 1 second, let me get on screen. Shouldn't Mars belong to SpaceX if they are the first to colonize it? I think that it should be the first. I think SpaceX should own it if they colonize it. Except they also shouldn't, because who knows what Elon Musk is going to do to the planet. It's probably going to be something good, but yeah. It would be pretty cool if they do own it, though. I would like that. Yeah, so coming up, we are just around 14 minutes away from launch. You can see that Falcon 9 is being very active with its vents. You can see those lights flashing on the 4 towers. Those are to steer the aircrafts away. Oops. Sorry about that. This, you can see the birds. Never mind. I take back. If you're on the coast, do not go outside. It's not flying up the coast. It is flying, not up the coast. It's flying directly east, away from Florida. A shortfall of gravitas is located off the coast, very east. So if you're on the coast, again, do not do not go outside. Well, you can go outside, but you just won't see it. So yeah. This camera is positioned to see the launch in just under 13 minutes. Yes, we will probably need interplanetary law, because I don't know if you guys have heard this story, but there's this thing in the government, with all the governments of the world, that says no country or like government can own the moon, but it never said anything about a single person owning the moon. So this guy made like 20 something million off of just selling land on the moon. So yeah, we should have those rules laid down before other stuff happens. The weather does appear to be tracking in a good direction. Falcon 9 now around 10 minutes. No, it's wrong. Um, 11 minutes away from launch at the moment. You can see Port Canaveral in the foreground and some clouds in the background, but there's no rocket on this camera right now. We can talk about the rocket though. Yeah. Um. Well, you can see. I don't know what drone ship that is. You can see a drone ship on the left side of your camera. You can also see a SpaceX recovery vessel on the right side of your camera. I think the. Oh wait, no, I do know what the drone ship on the left is. A shortfall of gravitas is out in the ocean, which means that just read the instructions is on the left side of the screen. Because of course, I still love you is has been transported to Vandenberg for those launches. Except I do not know the what is on the right of the screen. Yes, that is what I wish we could still do, but that would sort of be a mess. Um, yeah, good. SpaceX would just need to crash a bunch of starships into the surface of Mars for them to claim their territory, and then boom, they have Mars. Except you don't really want starships crashing all over Mars, because that's bad for like a lot of things. Yeah, so upcoming, we are just around 10 minutes away from the launch of SES-22. Um, we can go over the sequence of events for the launch. Um, engine ignition will occur at T minus 2 seconds, followed by liftoff at T0. At 1 minute 12 seconds into flight, the vehicle will pass through max Q, and then around 1 minute 33 seconds, there will be MECO or main engine cutoff. That will be followed by stage separation and stage 2 ignition, or where the MVAC engine ignites. That will then be followed by a pretty decently long burn of the second stage, like 6 minutes or so. During that burn, there will be the first stage entry burn, where they will light up 3 of the 9 Merlin engines on the first stage to begin slowing it down. The landing burn will then begin, and then it will hopefully land on the deck of a shortfall of gravitas. Um, yeah, and then Seco, and then I don't know if there's an SES-2 on this launch, but there could be. We are 8 minutes away from launch. Engine chill is imminent. I mean, Mars, you can be outside. It's just like a less fresh outside, more like confined inside your spacesuit type of outside. Yeah. We are still waiting for the camera to come back. Um, this camera is positioned at Port Canaveral around 10 miles away from Slick 40 at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This camera should be able to get it longer than those telephoto tracking cameras that are positioned closer because there appear to be clouds closer to launch. Engine chill is confirmed on the net. Um, yeah. You can see Falcon 9 venting away. Just around math, just around 7 minutes away from launch at the moment. Um, um, yep, that is what it does.
Station
I
copy 1 low complete.
Stage 1 RP1 load is complete. Okay. I just learned that too, because I know absolutely nothing about SES-2. So, um, thank you for teaching me something. Yeah. Another long question. There's no reason any rocket couldn't use launch assist similar to the catapults on aircraft carriers. It would increase range and or payload dramatically. Your thoughts? I mean, what are you? I don't really understand your question. Oh no, Oops, sorry if that was loud. I don't. I would think so. I don't know about dramatically, but I would think it does it pretty well. Like it, I would think it increases it by a little bit at least. Um, yeah. Sorry if I.
Tanks pressurizing for strong back retract.
Tanks are pressurizing now. Sorry if I completely misunderstood your question. Um. To add, didn't Richard Branson suggest launch from high altitude planes? Yes. I think he did. Oh yes, 5% would be dramatic. I agree with you. That's actually pretty dramatic. That's like 100 pounds, 100 or 200 pounds. I see what you're saying.
Strong back retract.
The strong back or TE is now retracting. I might get a few more of your chats before the launch occurs, except when the launch happens, we will listen to the launch audio and hopefully track Falcon 9 past the clouds. Except you never know with Florida weather. We are around 4 minutes away from launch at the moment. Let's let's hope that yeah. No, I don't think you'll be able to see it from here. Yeah, it seems a bit far. Oops, I just opened something. Yeah, that seems a bit far to see it. Because I'm assuming you're in Pennsylvania, right? Because Pennsylvania is north of Maryland, and
Stage 1 lock.
I don't expect to see it. You can go outside and hopefully you can see it, except, yeah, I'm not sure. Do they have the centrifugal thing? I don't know. Maybe one day we'll see a space elevator like in the Ad Astra movie. I never watched that movie. Is it good? Should I watch it? Is it good? Because space elevator sounds sort of interesting. And they just tested the sling rocket thing. Oh yeah, I know that. I should watch it. Okay, I'll watch it tonight. Yeah, that spin rocket, sling rocket thing is really cool. Um, Pennsylvania can see wallops depending on launch trajectory. Um, yeah. Usually most of that mid-eastern coast can see launches from wallops. Usually up here in Maryland, you can sometimes see launches that come up the coast, but usually at night. Okay, I'm gonna stop I'm gonna stop doing talking, and let's
Stage
get
2 lock load complete.
stage 2 lock load is complete. Okay. Ooh, I forgot to have this on. I forgot that the SpaceX stream was a thing. Ooh.
Gas launch closeouts.
Okay, so Falcon 9 is preparing. Oops, 1 second. Falcon 9 is now in the final seconds of the count, coming up on the launch of SES-22 to orbit. on board SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. I forgot that SpaceX had a live stream. This stream could possibly be very delayed. I'm gonna go on this camera. Let's see Falcon 9 take off from Space Launch Complex. No. Yes, Space Launch Complex 40. Okay. We are just under 1 minute to launch. Let's see as Falcon 9 carries.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Oops.
Launch director, we are go for launch.
There, go for launch. Let me mute that audio. Okay. Coming up here, we are around 30 seconds to launch. Let's see Falcon 9 take off with SES-22 to orbit there. Go for launch. We will listen in to Cape Canaveral audio once the rocket lifts off of the pad. 15 seconds to launch. That should be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have engine ignition, and we have liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket with SES-22 from Space Launch Complex 40, launching SES-22 to a geostationary transfer orbit. It is on-site audio. Let's listen for that rumble to reach the microphone. There's that sound. I'm going to be quiet until the sound dies off. Passing through the cloud. Oh no. Got the flame. It's lost in the sky. No. Well, Falcon is gone. We're switching to the SpaceX stream. We still got the rumble from Cape Canaveral. I'm gonna keep that on. You can see those engines, the plume beginning to expand. That is because the atmosphere is becoming thinner and thinner, so there's no atmosphere to push it into place. I will mute the SpaceX audio. I'll mute the on-site audio. The plume expands because the atmosphere thins out. So it'll open up until it becomes a soot. That is when they choose to have MECO, so there's more efficiency. So up next will be main engine cutoff, or MECO, which will then be followed almost instantly by stage separation and MVAC ignition. Let's wait. You can see the exhaust starting to become sooty. You can see that giant cloud over the East Coast, or just Florida. I don't know. Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice sounding launch. Coming up on MECO, there's a view from the first stage looking up that MVAC engine. That should be MECO. MECO, yep. There is stage separation. And we have, hopefully, there we go, we have MVAC ignition. Falcon 9 has now ignited that second stage. Those grid fins, those 4 titanium grid fins will, yes, I can drop the blue banner. 1 second. Let me get this off. Is that better? Actually, I have an idea. 1 second. I can keep my little banner thing, there's a view inside the fairing. And there we go, there's fairing separation. Is that better? So I can have my little banner and then the earth is not flat. You can see the fairings have separated. The MVAC now glowing. It's orange. It's healthy orange. It has switched its signal. Now it has acquisition of signal Bermuda. The first stage now coasting until it reaches its entry burn. That entry burn is where it'll ignite 3 of the 9 Merlin 1D engines to slow itself down as it re-enters the atmosphere. You'll notice that you can't really see the second stage plume, or it's less flamey. That is because of the plume expansion I was talking about. It's really sooty, but the engine is bigger, so it sort of compensates, but not really. You can see those cold nitrogen gas thrusters firing on the first stage to orient the first stage as it comes in for a landing at Cape Canaveral. For T plus almost 5 minutes, everything continuing to look nominal. Stage 2 now around 1 minute, 152 kilometers altitude, traveling around 12,000 kilometers per hour. The first stage is, that might be apogee, 112 kilometers, I believe. I might have missed apogee, except for me, apogee was 116 kilometers, I believe. I don't know though. I'll have to rewatch it. You can see those clouds along the Atlantic. First stage now reorienting itself for the entry burn, now descending 100 kilometers. It bounced over the Kármán line, and now it is back and now aiming to do its entry burn. That entry burn will happen anywhere between 75 and 55 kilometers, give or take. Yeah, you can see it's now speeding up. However, after the entry burn, it'll speed up for a little bit, and then it'll slow down because of the drag in the atmosphere. It'll slow down to subsonic speeds, and then it'll begin the landing burn at around 3 kilometers in altitude. Falcon 9 now ready for its entry burn. Those 3 engines will be ready to light. You'll be able to see the grid fins move as it prepares to light those engines. There, the grid fins moved. Please light. There we go. 1 and 3. We have 3 engines. Those 3 engines have ignited, now slowing itself down, making a barrier of soot to protect itself from Earth's atmosphere. Fire against fire. You can see that the second stage continues to look nominal, and we have shut down on the entry burn. First stage will now coast. It'll begin using those grid fins as the atmosphere gets thicker, denser and denser, so you'll be able to see them move more and more. It'll wobble a little bit. That's normal. That's why I had the grid fins, to counteract that wobble. Around 25 kilometers in altitude now, coming up on that landing. The landing will happen with just a single Merlin 1D engine. Ooh, we lost signal. No. Well, there's a weird little gap between the lower third and the SpaceX room, but that's fine. Well, there we go. We are on 12 kilometers in altitude. Yes, the last few landings were perfect. 10 kilometers in altitude. Good luck, Falcon. Please touch down in one piece. Here we go. Landing will happen at around the same time as SECO, or second engine cutoff 1. You can see it going transonic with those vapor cone, or not the cone, or just those vapor clouds. Please light the landing burn. There we go. Landing burn has begun on the first stage. Looks like we're going to get clean video. We have SECO 1. Should be nominal orbital insertion, hopefully. Here we go. There's the view from a short fall of gravitas. Come on, Falcon. landing legs should be deploying. There we go. There go those legs. Awesome. Amazing views of Falcon 9 coming all the way down to the drone ship. Yeah, there it goes. There it is. That is an amazing view, and now we have a view of SES-22 in orbit. So let me see when the payload deployment is, because I might be able to stay, I might not. Now that the first stage telemetry is gone, I can remove that little gap. Okay, I'll be able to stream this. I think that looks streamable. That's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, around 25 minutes, 28 minutes to deployment. So I'll be able to stay around. So yeah, that was a crystal. No, I'm not gonna say crystal clear. I don't even know why I thought of the word crystal clear as the opposite of crystal clear in Florida. I can get through the chats that I missed during the launch right now. Ooh, I missed I missed a bunch. Um, yep, yep. Your cat's about to die. It's fighting itself like every 30 minutes. Yeah. um, it's pretty. It just watching it. It seems pretty relatively simple, except like once you get to know it, which I'm not saying I do, but they're pretty complicated. Um, Especially after I did my launch yesterday. It just did a little flop on the ground. So yeah. We have a successful launch and orbital insertion. Up next will be SES-2 and SECO-2 coming up in just around 12 minutes or so. So not that long until we have second engine start and SECO-2. That burn should last around a minute. Hopefully we have views from it, because for some reason, whenever they do the the second engine start 2 and SECO-2, it's always in a loss of signal. So that's a small little part, and right when SECO-2 happens, they get the signal back. So hopefully we get signal today. Yeah, we can look at replays of the launch. Oh, let me get this up 1 second. Oh, we have loss of signal. I don't want loss of signal. I want acquisition of signal. Well, yeah. By the way, tonight I'm gonna be tonight at 12:30 in the morning, Eastern time. I don't know where everyone else is. I can't say. And I don't know. Well, on the East Coast, it's gonna be 12:30 a.m. A launcher one. They're launching off of a 747. They're carrying STP S-28A. It's a little late, except I'm gonna stream it because I like rockets. And then again, there, and then at 8 a.m. I'm gonna stream ISRO's PSLV-CA launch, and then later tomorrow I'm gonna stream Atlas V's USSF-12 launch, and then I'll have a break from streaming until CRS-25. Actually, no, I take that back. CRS-25 got delayed until June 14th. Yes, there are so many variables. LWC, Falcon 9 is fully automated, so there is no human control whatsoever. All those people in mission control are just monitoring the things. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. All the telemetry and all that stuff. During ascent to see if they need to terminate it, because there is still a button I don't know if it's a button, but the people can still press something to terminate and self-destruct the rocket. So, but no, there is no human control whatsoever. It is fully automated. Humans are not that accurate. I need to. I need a new bot. I need a new lower third. Um. Okay, I have a new lower third. Yes. Dragon or the capsule, both crew actually, yeah, both crew and cargo. Dragon can be operated from both in the capsule and ground control. Yes, humans are equal to errors. Not always, but most of the time. Not most of the time. I don't know. Probably like I don't know. Well, rockets are more accurate than humans. So yeah, we are now coming up on SES. What's it called? SES-2. Um, we aren't that far away. We are around 8 minutes out of SES-2. Now what? I can put the clock back on screen. It's 4:19. Um, no, it's 4:20. I agree. Actually, that's not an I agree statement. Never mind. Except I will agree with you on your statement that every program has an error. It just hasn't been found yet. Um, yeah, so if you are liking the live stream, we will have the same type of coverage tonight on one of our static fires. It will be our 8th time static firing the same engine, and it'll be in the twilight type time of day. So it'll be a pretty static fire. Yeah. They should speed up the rocket so we don't have to wait as long. Because even though I like being here, let me just speed this up. I'll turn that off. So now, by the way, that's a life hack. You can 2 times speed live streams, and it'll get you more real time. There. Now it is closer to real time than what it was before. Yeah, coming up on. Let me check like official releases on the SES-22 launch timeline. I will go to space launch schedule. I'm assuming. I forget where I usually get the details from. I cannot think right now. Maybe it's this. Oh, here. So T plus 27 minutes and 8 seconds is second engine start 2. So we're just around 9 minutes away from that. Oh. Um, yeah. Yeah, for me, it's also 5:22 p.m. It's just 4:22 in Starbase because that's the clock that I have it adjusted to, and I don't feel like adjusting the clock. So, um, we can talk about what can we talk about? We can talk about future launches because why not? Um, Let me check Starbase because I haven't checked Starbase in a while. Um, well, yesterday Boot B 7.1 I tested with the Can Crusher. But the road is closed right now, so there could be some action. It's closed until 10 p.m. CDT, so there's around 5.5 hours. Thank you, David, for subscribing. You have Starlink? Is it? I don't have it though. Is it like really good? Because I've heard a lot of stuff about Starlink. Um. So yeah. The Are the chopsticks going up? I don't think they are. It might just be my imagination after staring at the thing for a while. Okay. I, so I could. I'll start looking at Starlink because I've heard either really good or really bad about it. So I guess I'll start looking at it. Wait, 1 second. I'll start commentary in like 20 seconds. 1 second. Sorry. I had to go for a little bit. Oh, okay. So I might I'll consider Starlink now. Let me wait. David? Do you have a YouTube channel? Solar flares. Is that the same? LWC. You might know this more than I do. Is that the same solar flare that caused like those 40 something Starlink satellites to um re-enter unexpectedly? No. Okay. Um. Sorry, LWC. I missed one of your chats. Do we know when SpaceX might send a test rocket to Mars and attempt a landing? Well, right now they're aiming for 2024. Because there's a window every 2 years or so. However, it's probably going to end up being 2026 because I don't know. Except it's better to be optimistic. So, um, they're aiming for 2024 for that first Starship launch to Mars for cargo and humans in 2026. Yeah. So, yeah, upcoming will be SES-2 and SECO-2 in just around 5 minutes. That will happen. I don't know how long that burn will be. I lost the website. I will get the website back. I am back on the website. Let me see. So the second stage will burn for uh around a minute and 7 seconds. So it'll be a pretty decent for. Oh, look at that! That trajectory is like. What was the launch that did that? It was Ixby. It was um. It's doing a giant dog leg over to change its trajectory over. So it's a cool little maneuver. Not very little. It's a cool maneuver that Falcon 9 is doing to get SES-22 to its proper orbit. Um, yeah, upcoming. In just under 3 minutes will be SES-2. The next major event after SES-2 will be SECO-2, which will be followed by payload separation just around 5 to 6 minutes after. Yeah, they're yeah. I mean, most of the parts for that SpaceX uses are made in the USA, unlike other companies, because that is why the Antares rocket could possibly be retired, because their first stage is made in Ukraine. The engines that are powering the first stage are made in Russia, and without a first stage, you can't really launch the rocket. So, yeah. So coming up is SES-2 in just under 2 minutes, I believe. I will get on comms in like 30 seconds. 1 second, I need to go really quick. I am back. Oh, the dish moves around and tracks the satellites? That would be. I want one now just for that. That sounds so cool. Okay, here comes SES-2 in just a few seconds. Oh, it looks like we have views. There's that ice falling off. That is nothing unique. Ice usually falls off the engine. And there we go, T-tab ignition, and there we go. We have ignition of the second stage engine. Whoa, look at that. That would be a cool time lapse though, of like it just like tracking it throughout the day. It's like boom, 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 just moving around. Well, there goes that engine. You can see the telemetry speeding up. The altitude is not going to change much because it's translating horizontally and not vertically. Um, yeah. Okay, here we go. Coming up on SECO-2, where that MVAC engine will shut down. Ooh, that's going pretty fast. That actually might increase the speed or the altitude of the apogee. No, never mind. That is going to increase the altitude of the apogee because that's how physics works. There we go. We have shutdown of the MVAC engine. You can see that dogleg maneuver. It just turned. And there was I heard a confirmed nominal orbital insertion. I forgot to share desktop audio. But yeah, we had nominal orbital insertion. And coming up is the deployment in, let me check, in just around 4 minutes, yeah. So after payload deployment, I will have to go, unfortunately. But I like being on here with talking to you guys. So if you guys like this type of interactive content, you could subscribe. I go live a pretty good amount now. I have a bunch of upcoming live streams. I have Launcher 1, India, a PSL VCA, Atlas 5, Vega C, Falcon 9 again, another Falcon 9, Firefly's Alpha Rocket, Starship, Antares, Delta 4 Heavy, and more. So, yeah. Yeah, the new Starlink satellites have they are less reflective and like have a different paint job, or I don't know what they did to it. But they can't be seen as easily by observers. I do have the Starlink satellite tracker app, and it shows like it just show yeah. Yeah. But now it's harder to see the Starlink trains because they did that light pollution thing. But if they didn't, I would agree with you. The sky would look awesome with all with those 30 something thousand satellites in orbit. Um yeah. They shouldn't have made that change. Thank you for subscribing. Um you can see SES-22 and the MBAC engine coming up on deployment in just over 2 minutes. Yeah. So you can see it now traveling across mid-Africa. Um, I am not sure which ground station it is connected to at the moment because I forgot to listen. Oh, they just called out an acquisition of signal, and I and I forgot to listen again because I was talking. So helpful. That would be really cool. Let's all just we need to protest, like peaceful though. Peaceful protest to Elon Musk that they should turn on like all the reflector things and aim them towards the ground so we get a light show all over the world for at least an hour though. It needs to be a pretty decent time. Yeah, so upcoming will be the deployment in just over 1 minute at 33:26. Um, so under a minute now. You can see the speed decreasing as they have flung themselves away from the Earth and have doubled their. Um, oh wait, never mind. I take back the horizontal slide. It actually did an upward slide. So yeah, I was wrong about that, but they did do the upward slide. Here comes the deployment. Um, yeah, there is SES-22 attached to the Falcon 9 payload adapter, and hopefully it will deploy into a geostationary transfer orbit in just a few seconds. I'm gonna do a countdown. 3, 2, oh, there it goes. There's an engine on there because since this is geostationary transfer orbit and I'm placing it directly into its orbit, it needs to perform boosting maneuvers to get into its targeted orbit. Well, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for tuning into this exciting launch of SES-22 aboard a Falcon 9 rocket. If you do like this type of content, you can subscribe because me and some other people will also do live streams. Today was just me, except sometimes we will have other people on. SpaceX just ended their stream. But yes, sometimes we'll have other people on the stream talking, so it's even more interactive. But that'll be it for this coverage of SES-22. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Oops, I didn't mean to switch to that view. Sorry. Okay, bye guys.